Hello.
Hello.
We're back 5 minutes after maybe I don't know. Can't be asked to schedule them that length time apart. Don't know what I'll do yet. But yes, what are we doing?
Just put them up when they go up.
Yeah, what we doing?
Oh, we're talking about the second Doctor Who episode of the season. You know, the one called The Devil's Chord.
Yeah. What did you make of it?
I wasn't a fan.
I I liked it sort of.
This surprises me as someone who, from my perspective, is not very into music.
Well,
I did not expect. I didn't think you would be overly.
there wasn't much of a music bent to it, really, was there? In
Well, I
in
mean, I
a
suppose that's
sense,
kind of a point.
it was about music, but not really.
Is
I
it?
I did think at the end like this. Why don't you make this a musical episode? I kind of would have been fine with that. It would have been interesting to me. Um,
Hmm.
but
Ah,
alas,
it's funny you say that.
yes, we're in 1963, and the Beatles can't sing because Jinx Monsoon has stolen music.
Yeah, as the maestro.
Yes, yes. I well, I think I'll start off with something good. I really liked Jinx Monsoon. I thought she was fun and scary
Is
and
it?
full of
Is it
exactly.
she?
Yeah, is it
Okay.
she? Yeah, yeah. I know what you
No, no,
mean, but
it
I know.
is it the word you're meant to be using is that is
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
I know what you
because
mean. Yeah,
because because they specified they during the episode, you see, so I wasn't sure.
they the character, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Jinx Monsoon.
Okay, let's have a quick Google.
Um,
If I can spell it.
she
She.
has been noted for her celebrity. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Yes,
That's fine. That's fine. That's yeah.
that's okay. Yeah.
It's a question
Okay.
worth having, is asking, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, I thought she had exactly the right kind of energy for the role. I thought that sort of dark, campy sort of power. Um, I thought she nailed it, and I know some people don't like characters like that. I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a good performance, and I liked the character, and I like the idea of this sort of dark pantheon of gods that is gradually being unleashed. We've had the toy maker, and now we've had the maestro. So and there's reference to the one who waits and he. So yeah, I
I'm inclined to agree. I didn't have any issue with the character. I think not necessarily the direction that they went in the representation of it was a good idea. I think something about the way that the episode played out doesn't sit right with me. But there's nothing wrong with the character or the actress playing them. I feel like they were fine in themselves.
yes, I think you could. I think you could see that going badly if you cast someone who didn't have
Yeah,
that energy.
yeah.
She got it. She struck the right chord.
Right person for the right role,
Yes,
and the character is an interesting enough character.
yes, I liked that. Um, you know, I yeah, I think it was all right on the whole. I did like it. I think she was a big reason why. It's not like I don't have problems though. Um, I I I I think it's a very early. Well, I say very early. We had this not too long ago with the toy master or the toy maker, where the doctor is like, "I am out my fucking depth. This is too much. I cannot deal with this."
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's a bit early for that. Maybe we should have waited just a little bit.
Well, no,
Um,
that's what we are the one who waits. Then
yeah. um,
that's
yeah.
it, isn't it? It's gonna be who was the guy that got Doctor Who cancelled back in the
Was it going to be
something?
Michael Grade?
It's gonna be him. He's the one who waits.
uh, I also I they did this thing that I thought was quite good, a nice little touch, and then immediately ruined it. And that thing was when Jinx Monsoon first makes her appearance, the maestro, and starts playing the Doctor Who theme tune and looking at camera. And I thought, oh, that won't go anywhere, but it's a nice little touch. And then
My note on that.
the theme tune finished, and it was playing on the jukebox. And I thought, okay, you've just stolen that. Thanks, Russell.
My my note on that was it was an interesting decision to do the fourth wall break.
Yeah.
And it sort of worked because the- it's trying to be a bit meta, isn't it? I suppose is the phrase that most fits it. Is like this they're doing what they did in that episode. I can't. What was this? It was a McCoy episode, and they had what's her name? The hooligan one
Oh,
where you saw
Ace.
Ace, and there was Doctor Who was coming up on the TV, wasn't it? At one point, and the TV gets turned off. And what's
Oh.
happened is that elements of what we know as to be the TV show Doctor Who are now in episode or in story canonical things,
Well,
right?
the BBC made an episode. I mean, that sort of makes sense. There's a theory. Well, I say a theory. Somebody, tongue-in-cheek, suggested that Doctor Who is a show put out by the Torchwood Institute to make it seem like Doctor Who isn't real. You know what I mean?
Which is I can live with that theory.
It wasn't even the only meta fourth wall break. I don't know whether you caught it. I think I only caught it because I saw it when I briefly had a look at the Reddit reviews. The
Mm.
Doctor, when they're in the studio, and Ruby saying, "Do you hear music?" and it steals her, and he said, "Oh, I thought that was non-diet, or I thought that was diegetic." You know what that means?
No, I'd heard the word before, but I couldn't.
Well, I only know it because it came up in my film studies course at uni. So there's diegetic and non-diegetic music, and I always forget which is which. So just bear with me 1 second. So okay, so diegetic music, it's like if when they were playing the piano, that is music
Mm.
within the episode, so everybody can hear it. It's not part of the
Yeah,
soundtrack necessarily, or solely part of
yeah,
the soundtrack. That's the
okay.
difference. It's like the Cantina band. That's that's diegetic music because that's in there. But the Star Wars theme is not music within the Star Wars universe. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But actually, it is.
Okay, we're not fucking doing.
Imperial March was using it as propaganda music in Solo.
Yeah,
So
but the actual Star Wars theme.
no, but
You
like
know what I mean.
some of the music that we know as Star Wars music
Yeah.
actually as outside has become inside since.
But,
So
but yeah,
yeah,
yeah, a couple of fourth wall breaks, which I was sort of
and
fine
then
with.
he winks to camera as well. I did notice that one
Yeah,
later on,
well, okay. I
just before the musical number,
Oh
the
yes, he
proper
did.
musical
Yeah,
number.
there's always a twist.
Yeah. Can I unironically I I hated the musical number, but
I wasn't
I
wild about it.
I did I disliked it more than the song about the dog
Right.
because I was actually tapping my foot to that dog song.
I thought it was funny that dog song. I like the looks, the the looks on their faces. I thought
It
they,
had a beat to it.
I thought they could have done something really funny with that because the next person they check in on is Cilla Black, and and I thought there's a number of jokes you can do. You could have her just singing one of her songs, and they're like, "Oh my god, it got to Cilla too."
No, because you're not going to believe this. I wrote down Scylla sounded just like real life. Shit.
Yeah, like,
Because I've long said that I'm not a fan of Cilla Black as a
mm,
musician, right?
yeah.
It's a long running thing, but I fucking made that joke on my notes.
Yes, I did think you could have done something with that, like the idea
Yeah.
that, oh my god, she sounds better. What's happening? It's all gone topsy turvy.
Why hasn't it affected her?
Yeah, yes, yeah. That's three jokes, three ways you could have gone with this.
You know,
No,
and instead
it's just
it's.
like the space babies. He didn't take advantage of the joke.
But that's the
Um,
thing. He did try and do funny stuff. It didn't work as
yeah,
funny. It's the wrong way to make it funny.
I have
I
to
think.
admit, I was sitting there watching this, and in my head, I made so many jokes about John Lennon beating his wife and the fact that the Beatles used to jerk off together in my head. Just every time something came up that looked vaguely appropriate, I made it in my head, and I'm a little bit ashamed to admit that. Um, but there you go. I did.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Gone.
I was more gripped by this episode than the last one.
Good. Good.
I will say I did prefer this to the last one, but I did not really enjoy this one all that much.
I um
Still,
I yeah, one of my bugaboos at the beginning, that guy who she that's how this whole thing gets set off, isn't it? Because she had the little kid who was the harbinger, and he tricks the guy into summoning her,
mm,
and she stole the music teacher's music. I thought she was just that was just like her charisma. She was just sort of bullshitting him and saying, "Oh, you could have been great. Do you want me to help you make you
Do we know
great?"
who he was? Can you remember his name? Because I can't remember his name.
No, I
Is he
don't.
an actual? I mean, he must have been an actual person, right?
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, even if he
Um,
wasn't, then I was thinking. I mean, you need to allude to that within the conversation. You need to have a moment
well,
where he's talking to the kid and he's like, "Oh yes, I once had dreams of being a great composer, but I never quite made it."
I'm gonna have a look and see who the person was,
Yeah,
and we can see.
yeah,
Um,
because
where
that's
is it? Uh, Timothy Drake. That was his name.
because
So who is Timothy Drake?
that's that's one thing. uh,
I typed Timothy Drake, and it comes up with someone who played Robin. Tim Drake was Robin at one point.
Right, I
Hang on, composer. There we go. Tim. No, there we go.
yeah, it's just a
Sorry, keep going
character
on.
and it's not a real person, is it? I mean, there's two ways you can go with that. Either you have it alluded to that, yes, I could have been a great composer, and maybe leave it at that, or you have it actually a person who, a niche musical reference that all the musicologists will pick up on. This is
You
somebody
see, if
who widely regarded years after his time and probably would have been huge. Um,
well, I mean, they just in my head, if you're going to do that sort of a thing, especially at a specific point in time before the birth of a particular type of music, it only makes sense if that particular person was involved in the creation of that type of music,
mm,
right? Either as a direct inspiration or as someone who actually did the fucking thing.
I think I
So, like,
yeah,
taking down John Lennon would make more sense to me
that
than
does
taking down
yeah.
this random guy.
That makes sense. I also think I was expecting it to go like towards the end, where they've had that first chat with Jinx Monsoon, where she's
Hmm.
playing the piano. I thought, oh, okay, now we've got to go back to 1923 and talk to this guy, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was expecting that to come up. Never did.
no, he's screwed. There's no saving him.
Yeah, I. Yeah, I agree with your point. Actually, come to think of it, that's like the obvious thing to do. She's trying to steal the essence of Lennon and McCartney. And Ringo's like, "Don't you want me?" He's like, "No, you're all right.
We could have been called for shoes.
You and Scylla, you'll be all right."
Good old silly Silla.
Yes,
No, but that's if he's just some bloke, then he's just it could have been anyone, right? It could have literally been anyone on the fucking planet at any point in time if that's the whole point.
yeah,
Whereas if you're gonna make it a big deal about the Beatles, then have it relevant to the Beatles.
that's a better way to do it. I see. I when I saw
Pete
the
Best, do it to Pete Best.
yes, yes, maybe that might be an interesting episode where the fate of the universe rests on Pete Best never being in the Beatles.
Yeah.
You have to ruin this man's dream to
Oh, you know what?
save the universe.
There's this. You won't have seen it because it's Red Dwarf, and you're not a fan of Red Dwarf. But they they accidentally stop. Funnily enough, in 1963, the Kennedy assassination,
Oh,
but whilst going back in time to get a curry. And in order to fix the timeline, they get Kennedy, for surviving Kennedy,
to
to go
shoot
back and
himself.
assassinate himself on the grassy knoll. And just to fix history, he has to not the quote unquote good ending to
Yeah.
the day has to not happen, right? And you've made me think about by saying that,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Could have a Quarrymen reference in there or something. I don't know.
it doesn't. Yeah, having a well, this is the thing we were talking in the last video. We only just finished recording about how everyone's a somebody, but actually this bloke wasn't. He was a nobody in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, I like it as an opening, in a sense. It's a bit.
Just make him relevant. That's all I want. And the opening was fine. Just
Yeah.
make him relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird that it was just sort of a guy who was apparently like one of the great musical geniuses who just never made it or something.
Yeah. Anyone could stumble across a chord. It's not
Yeah, I was
that
thinking
really
like at the end when they had like what was it, 5 out of the 6 or 6 out of the 7 or something.
6 out of 7, I think.
Just
Yeah.
run your finger along the piano. You've done all the hard work's done. You just need to randomly hit keys and hope for the best.
Well, no, because you need to play them together. Is kind of a big deal.
Oh,
So
is
it's only
that?
a chord if you play them together.
Oh, right. I thought it was just finished. Yeah.
The only reason that realistically, the only reason John and Paul managed to play the seven correctly together is because six of them were already there for them. If you put them in front of a piano, they're not going to play the right seven like that. The
They
odds of that are astronomically small.
they just
I
start
wanted the notes to be
masturbating.
relevant to something. I didn't recognize what the notes were, so
No,
maybe
they
it was
weren't.
something. But I would have expected it to be. I was expecting it to be something like Imagine. Would be,
Oh
or the
no.
start of Imagine would be the.
Was that what the Gal Gadot thing was? Did the Maestro escape again, and all these celebrities got together to lock her back away, and we all made fun of them?
Well, evidently, yeah, it could well have been that. But
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, you. The more I think about it, the more there are issues with the episode. I think you're right.
why are we doing better at writing these episodes?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would never have written this episode, but we could have at least touched it up a bit.
Yeah, I mean that's. I often think I might be all right at that. Like, just here's a finished script that somebody's done.
Fix it.
You know, use it up a bit. Make some
Yeah.
minor edits, alterations.
Take this script and make it better. That is absolutely what we would have done with this and the last
But
episode.
that's the easy bit, man. I mean, all the hard work's done at that point.
But I mean, but is it though? Because I mean,
Yeah,
the thing that we're suggesting here is the thing that would have made it redeemable.
I mean, I thought
The
it was
thing that would have
good.
made it.
I,
Well,
I,
I mean,
I,
yeah, you did.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I think that bit at the beginning, which I liked. I just sort of restructure just sort of make it more focused on the Beatles. Like, I mean, you're completely right. That's like the obvious thing. Like Lennon and McCartney, two musical geniuses who changed the world through music. Oh, of course they'd stumble across the Devil's Chord while smoking pot and
Hmm.
play it, and you know Ringo being Ringo, and you know
There wasn't any real relevance to George and Ringo at all in there. I mean, obviously they're on screen, but like there wasn't really any real mention of them, which is
well, no,
a
I
bit of
mean,
a shame. I know it's the Lennon McCartney thing, isn't it? That was a writing duo, but I mean, Ringo and George both did writing involved in the
yeah,
stuff. Like,
yeah.
they're equally as important to the Beatles as, and how people shit on Ringo, but it wouldn't have been the Beatles if it wasn't Ringo, right?
I guess I don't know. I don't know enough about music. Just hear
Right, fair
people
point.
calling him like the luckiest man in show business. Ringo's
Well,
not. Is
because
Ringo the best drummer in the world? Ringo isn't even the best drummer in the Beatles. Bless.
I do. You know how normally if they're doing these sorts of things, they try and make the people look at least vaguely like,
Yeah, I
or at least
did
they used
think.
to.
God,
Their version of John Lennon,
Paul McCartney's looking chubby, isn't he?
their version of John Lennon is just a bloke with the haircut and the glasses. That's
Yeah,
it. It's just a normal bloke who's got the haircut and the glasses.
yeah.
And whether you think those are John Lennon glasses or not depends on when you were brought up. Because I mean, to most people nowadays, they're Harry Potter glasses, right?
I don't know. I don't
You
know.
know,
That's,
it's just
yeah, I
I've not seen Van Gogh in real life, right? But the bloke they got to play Van Gogh in my head is what
looks
Van Gogh
like you
looks like,
imagine Van Gogh looks like. Same thing with
based
Charles
on
Dickens.
based on the painting.
Yeah, Charles Dickens was the one I was thinking
Churchill.
of. Yeah, Churchill looks sufficiently
These people
Churchillian, and
they make these people at least seem like these people. But
yeah,
no, I couldn't believe even for a moment that these were actually meant to be the Beatles, other than them saying that they were the
yeah.
Beatles, right?
Agatha Christie. I don't think I don't. I'm not entirely sure Agatha Christie looked like the actress who played Agatha Christie, but she looked like that's how Agatha Christie would look.
Yeah,
But I looked at the Beatles
that's
and
the
I
thing,
thought
isn't it?
that's four guys in a stag do who've dressed up as the Beatles. That's
Yeah,
with
that is it. Isn't it?
terrible wigs.
Where did the money go? Where did the Disney money go?
Is this a fucking Ponzi scheme? Is this an
It must
embezzlement? Is
be.
that what this is?
It's
Russ,
laundered the money.
Russell T Davies building some sort of Death Star or something with Disney money.
I don't understand what's happened. Maybe it
um,
was always like this,
I,
but it doesn't feel
I
like it was.
I haven't checked Twitter in a while because it makes me want to kill myself and others.
Yeah.
But we followed someone called Diamanda Hagen, who was a member of Channel Awesome, and she's frequently talking about how much she dislikes the Russell T Davies Doctor Who. So who fucking knows? I think maybe it just got us at the right time. If we grew up with the classic era, we might fucking despise Russell T Davies as Doctor Who. I don't know.
I'll tell you
Um,
what we would despise if that was the case.
Michael Grade.
Chris Chibnall.
You really spice Chris Chibnall, and
I fucking hate what Chris
I'm
Chibnall's done
I'm
to
not
Doctor Who.
wild. Yeah. The more I learn about it, the less
You didn't see
inclined.
it And you
I
weren't
won there.
there.
I'm just one of the
I get this
protesters.
1,000 yard stare, and you're
As you
sat there.
come back,
What was it like, Jordan?
did you kill many children, Jordan, over in Vietnam? One of the protesters throwing eggs at you. Like, fuck you. You did
All I
this.
did was watch a TV show. Do you want to know something depressing?
Oh,
It's depressing to me.
yeah.
Ruby's 10 years younger than us.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's trying to get the younger audience in, which it
But
probably is, right?
Rose was
But I mean,
19, canonically.
well, I mean, yeah, but we were like, what was
11, weren't we?
so
I, what, do you want to talk about the musical stuff at the end?
Oh, it seems so forced.
I just,
Like it was there because they had to fill the time. I suppose.
yeah. Yeah, I was, I mean, I stand by what I said. I thought, when that happened, I was like, why not just do the whole episode as a musical? I'd be fine with that. I think that would be interesting. I might not love it, but I'd respect you for trying something different.
It didn't make much sense to me as to why, if the whole point of a villain is that they are music themed, that there is not more music, right? I
Well,
don't understand the logic behind this music person wants to take
I
all the music.
I think their plan was that it's the music of like it's not the word they use, but like entropy, like nothing there. There's a certain tune to it.
It's the music of nature rather than the music of
Yes,
man.
it's like the perfect, the universe sort of running along. I don't fucking know. It kind of made sense to
Well,
me
why aren't they on Deridium then?
that they would what?
The Singing Towers of Deridium, I believe they were referred to.
All right.
It's something that came up in either Smith's or Capaldi's era.
I actually did spot a reference. They mentioned some sort of orbs or globes, and I that
Spears.
spheres that made me think of the proms. There was a Doctor Who proms, and I have a feeling they mentioned some sort of spheres there. Was that a reference to that? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Maybe.
Um, yes, but I agree. It did feel like they were sort of filling time with the musical
I
number.
like music, but I mean, come on.
I I would have been fine if they
It's.
just made it a musical.
Do you remember that period of time, which I blame entirely on Shrek, by the way? That period of time where every fucking family-friendly movie had a song and dance number at the end.
No,
Happened with Shrek, with the first couple of Shrek films, and then it
yeah,
happened in Alice in Wonderland with the one with Johnny Depp in it.
ugh.
And it's this thing that kept happening at the end of films, and it reminded me of that really, really quite awkward era.
Mm.
Of
Yeah. I
it
one
felt dated to me. It was there, and it didn't need to be there. And
ow. One thing I didn't quite get. You had your big song and dance number in like the canteen and with all the workers and everything. But then you had when they went outside the big piano off a big on the crosswalk, and I thought
on the Abbey Road crossing, yeah,
that's okay. That's why okay. Why are we doing this?
yeah, that doesn't make much sense,
Yeah,
really.
I just make it a fucking musical, Russell T Davis. Yeah, like there's a good episode in there, a good solid fun Doctor Who episode in there about this dark god of music who wants to destroy the Beatles before they get big, because then she can feed on all the music that's not produced. I guess is what she says.
How
And
can you feed on something that don't exist?
I don't know. Because then it's hers, I guess. And then when people sing it, it drags it out of her realm, and she loses it. I don't know. That's something that makes a sort of sense.
But
Um,
logically, that would only really make sense if it was something that hadn't been done already,
I
right?
don't know.
It would have to be something new. In which case, why did she kill the old lady?
Because the old lady started
An old song from
playing
way back
Great
when.
Balls of Fire or whatever it was.
Uh, Jemima Lee Lewis.
Yeah. I yeah, I think there's far more potential with this one than Space Babies, and I think there was a lot more things I liked about it than the old one. What did that lady in the canteen say, by the way?
About the
The tea. She said it was 2 crowns, and the doctor bought it and said, "Oh, it's a daylight robbery." And then she started talking about somebody.
Yeah, I listened to it, but I didn't write it down.
No, I didn't.
It didn't seem relevant to me at the time. But maybe it's a music thing that we just don't get, right?
Probably.
I mean, if music is dead, why does a recording studio still exist at that point? Like, if it's been like 40 years,
That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that. And they don't seem to enjoy music either. They seem to like Lennon and McCartney are actively disgusted with themselves for making you. They
yeah,
just want to live normal, quiet lives where they don't make music, but there's still a music industry.
like there shouldn't be a music industry at that point. The studio shouldn't exist. That should be where the episode starts. If they're gonna do the thing where it's going to go back
Yeah.
and it's this bloke from the 20s, then why the heck you should go to the Abbey Road Studios and oh shit, this is an apartment block.
Yes. This is weird. Right. We're definitely in the right place. Look, there's the crosswalk.
Yeah. And then they
Uh,
can do the whole crosswalk. Oh look, we're on the crosswalk. We're on the crosswalk, but the fucking studio's not there. You
yeah.
know, I don't. It doesn't work for me. I mean,
Yeah.
the concept does work for me, but the way it was done doesn't.
Yes. There's something good in there, and there are, as I say, I like Jinx Monsoon. I think she
Yeah,
hits.
no issue with
She's
Jinx.
perfectly cast and works really well with that character, and it's exactly the right sort of tone and energy. Um, fun and a little bit intimidating to watch in equal measure. Um, yeah, that bit where the doctor turned off all the sound.
I
I
mean, it's a sonic screwdriver, so I suppose that makes
I
sense.
thought my tablet fucked up. I mean,
No, I could tell that it was.
I assumed that was the case, but it went on a little while, and Jinx Monsoon was saying stuff and wasn't expressing much surprise at not being able to speak.
Now you see, I know there was a bit of surprise there initially with the
Well, I thought
when
that,
stuff wasn't.
but I thought,
It probably made it easier for me because I tend to watch telly with subtitles on.
well, I usually do, but I don't have them on my tablet.
So
But yeah, I agree with all your points, or most of your points. I think there's a good episode in there, but it is sort of bewildering that the more I think about it, the more bewildering it is that they didn't make the Beatles the focus.
mm.
You know,
But they weren't. They were just a thing that existed. They
yes,
went there to see the Beatles. They saw the Beatles. The Beatles stopped being relevant for about 60% of the episode. And then at the end of the
yeah,
day, they saved the day by walking past the piano in a hallway.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, hang on.
yeah, like that Charles Dickens episode, The Unquiet Dead. Like he's relevant to that, and there's
Yeah, he's in it throughout, and it inspires one of his stories. He
yes,
doesn't end up writing the story because
he
he dies,
dies,
but
yeah.
you know, at least there's this whole thing there, isn't there?
Yes, there is a relationship between the Doctor and Charles Dickens, and with Agatha Christie, and with all these other historical figures that they've met.
Maybe they didn't want us to be able to scrutinize the look for long enough.
What look?
The
Oh
very
yeah,
bad look.
yeah. That again, that's strange. But that should have been the focus. Jinx Monsoon wants
Yeah.
to take the music away from like the most influential band of the 20th century, and
The world is the universe won't. The only way to save the universe is to ensure that Under the Sea, or no, not Under the Sea, Octopus's Garden gets written
yes,
and performed.
you don't understand, John. It all hinges on the frog chorus. You got to write the frog chorus, John.
We can't live and let die, John. We've got to live. We've got to play.
Yeah.
Just play the same fucking note.
And there's usually like, I remember that Agatha Christie episode. That was chock full of fucking references, fun little references to Agatha Christie stories, and you
I
know,
suppose that's the issue
the
with them. But
Shakespeare
yeah,
had a
that's
lot.
it. They didn't really reference any of the Beatles' later work, did they? Which
No,
is the obvious thing to do. Maybe they weren't allowed. Maybe they didn't get permission because I mean Paul's still alive, Ringo's still alive. The John Lennon estate would probably have issues with
Yoko
we're
was
going to be.
probably like, you need to make it about, I don't know, you need to have like a 5 minute shot of a single piece of paper with the sound of rustling trees. The audience will know it means something.
Well, I mean that would be the kind of music that Jinx would listen to.
Yeah. Uh,
Why are all the bad guys so full of cryptic bullshit at the moment?
weren't they always?
I mean, sometimes, but sometimes they were just so blunt about what they wanted. Like, you know, for the Carrier Knights, they didn't really. Just as off the top of my head, they weren't. There wasn't any cryptic nature to what they were doing and why they were doing it and what was coming up from them. You know,
Well, that's because
it's
that's
just a
the,
fucking.
well, that's because there were scenes with them on their own, weren't there? And the villain, they're not going to be especially cryptic on their own. You as a writer, you can like cut away from it before they reveal anything. But there's no scenes of Jinx Monsoon and her accomplice talking about,
for piano.
you know, or her having a conversation with some other member
Well,
of
I
the
suppose
Great
if it
Pantheon or
had become
whatever.
a musical, there would have been a
Villain
solo
song. Oh
song,
God, what we were robbed.
you
That
know,
would
which
have
would have,
that could have been
you know,
fun.
again, I mean, I don't have the longing for a musical episode that you seem to.
I
I would have, it would have taken it in a completely different direction to the way it was presented, and I might have liked it more.
I don't have any sort of longing for a musical episode, but when it got to the end, I was like, why the fuck haven't we just made this a musical?
Hmm.
You've stuck a little musical number in here. It would have been interesting. It would have been like,
To
oh,
be fair, there
let's
were
try
more
and
musical
see.
numbers.
Let's try and see Doctor Who be a musical. Like, let's try that.
There,
Let's see how this works. Let's see if it can be done. I would
there were more
respect
musical
that.
numbers in there. You're forgetting the dog song
Yes,
and whatever Syllaba's singing.
yes, all night long. That's what she should have been singing. She should have been singing "I the Tiger."
Yeah, but it was only she can't be singing all night long. It was 2 in the afternoon,
Well,
and
she
she
was
just doesn't
singing.
want to go home.
She was singing all night long in that video, and she was kicking them out of the fucking street. The
No, but
little,
she's singing all night long. They can be gone all night long.
she can get pissed and
No, they're just
whatever.
they're trying to big up the villain at the end, right? That's what it is. They're trying to big up the guy at the end of the series,
Mm.
the guy who waits, and we're waiting for it to come to light. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not getting excited about it.
Yeah, I think the difference is this: that when it was foreshadowed in the other Russell T Davies stuff, it was like just one line here and there. I always remember
It was subtle,
in the
absolutely.
Cyberman episodes in the parallel universe, there was just a bit where they were at the party and some guy walked past and went, "Oh, hi Terry, how's things at Torchwood?" It was like, "Oh, I've heard that word before." You know,
Yep, yep.
Bad Wolf. The helicopter in the Dalek episode was called Bad Wolf. It's like, oh, that's I've heard this phrase, like 3 times now. This is okay. What's this
If you know
then,
your
eh?
Welsh, if you know your Welsh, you'd have picked up the Bad
Blades
Wolf Hay thing.
Droog. Yeah, I still
You
remember
know,
that.
it's just like it was all subtle. I mean, it was there, and it was good to see it on the way back. But now it's on the nose, but less informative.
Well, it doesn't give you pause for thought. I have gained no further information about this one
No,
who waits.
no, other than
You've told me the same thing before that they're on their way or something. You're gonna meet them soon enough.
he's got
Okay,
legions.
yes,
Is it?
I've got that.
Is he a Roman centurion guy?
I
I don't
don't
know.
know the one
Got
who.
with his legions.
When I've heard reference to it being
Oh,
Rory.
well, because he did wait, didn't he?
Yes,
Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, that could be it.
it's probably not. I hope it's
I mean,
not.
it's probably not because, like, surely he's got better things to do,
Probably
and he's not a deity, is he?
no. I do.
Although, what makes these people deities? How did they gain their power in the first place?
I don't know. I think it's just like manifestations of things within our natural universe. But I like the idea of some sort of dark, as I say, a dark pantheon of celestial beings.
Hang on a minute.
What?
What if the one who waits is like a literal waiter at a restaurant?
um.
Wouldn't that be a rug pull?
Yeah.
Doctor, what would you like to order?
Hmm.
Oh my god, the one who waits.
Maybe the doctor just gets really paranoid and just starts beating the shit out of waiters. Like, I know it's you,
I
you
ordered
bastard.
spaghetti.
Just see
I've
a
heard that
little old lady
voice.
waiting at a bus stop. I'm fucking on to you, mate. Got your number.
Yeah,
Who
what
sent
do
you?
fucking- Hang on,
Ugh.
the woman who wants a cup of tea at Ruby's house.
Yeah, that would have made more sense if they'd done her waiting again in the last episode. That would have been that would be interesting actually if it cycled back and it was her.
Yeah.
The one who waits. She's forever waiting for a cup of tea, and you could just hear the sound of millions of groans going up across the country. No Mrs. Flood.
That was the woman who did the Haven't You Ever Seen the TARDIS before?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Were we expecting to see her?
No, I just think it's noteworthy we haven't
Okay. Well,
either
I
seen
think.
or had any sort of reference to her.
I mean, is it possible that it's just a matter of that was just a side joke for the
I
sake of making a
sincerely
joke?
fucking hope not.
I hope not as well, because it cheapens the whole thing, doesn't it? If it's just a silly little joke, it's just,
But that
and
was
that's
like that was your old style foreshadowing. You know,
yeah, it
that's the thing.
absolutely was.
Oh, that's intriguing. How does she know what a TARDIS is? You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I know at the time we floated the possibility that it was because of the EastEnders thing, but
I
I mean that's but
guarantee
she
you it
wasn't there for that.
wasn't.
She wasn't there for that, was she?
No,
We looked it over, so
I didn't need to look
but
it over. Thank you very much. I already knew.
no, but I mean, fucking
Yeah, I
cut
know.
me some class.
All
Like, you know, it's
right,
not like I watched fucking EastEnders before I was born, is it?
you're missing out.
I've got better things to do with my time, like hang myself. Oh, what do you know? I can schedule it in right after my weekly hanging if you want, but
um, yeah. Um,
sorry, I just feel compelled to say I don't actually hang myself, nor do I plan to.
no,
For anyone who
I,
for the four people who watch this video and listen to it to this point, I'm not. I don't have suicidal tendencies, so don't worry about it. Don't comment on it. Thank you.
we done. We got that out of the way.
It's important to have a disclaimer.
Brought the brought the fucking tone down with your
I
little.
mean, I mean,
So
like
yes, the Devil's Chord. Um, yeah,
it's a missed opportunity as far as I'm concerned. It could
maybe
have
it
been
could have
better
been
than it was.
creepier as well. Just the idea of the Devil's Chord, the church bandit, and I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't. I don't fucking know. Probably not.
It got me thinking about the song Hallelujah,
Hmm.
because there
I
was
heard there was a sacred chord that
the devil
Dav-
the David
David
played and it
played and it
pleased the
pleased the
Lord,
Lord. You don't
and I
really
was
care
wondering
for
if
music, do you?
that was something that I thought could have potentially been involved as well at some point. But again, it's such a that's the thing because I know so much music
Yeah.
and I think about music a lot outside of like I do I listen to a lot of music. I think about music. Um, a lot of things were running through my head. I did think when they were doing the music battle, the devil went down to Georgia.
Yes,
Came to mind.
that sprung to mind as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I again that one might have been nice in a sort of musical episode format. But yeah, I agree with a lot of your issues. I mean I'm thinking about it now. It's a historical episode with famous people that doesn't play like a historical episode with famous people. Like he doesn't really interact with the Beatles at all. It's not there's no references made. They're
there's a
not
conversation with
they're
one of
not
them.
particularly significant in the episode. It just happens to be where it's set, and as you said, yeah, I mean they save the day, but yeah, no, I agree. I like Jinx Monsoon. I think this could have been much better. I think the best this could be was just like a really bloody solid episode, or maybe some jokes and stuff. Um,
Mm.
take the piss out of Scylla.
It was a wasted opportunity, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think do we basically both agree with this on
I
this?
think so.
I think, yeah. I just think I think Jinx Monsoon saves it more for me than it does for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um.
Because like I don't hate it. I don't dislike the episode as much as I dislike the previous one. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's not the way that I feel about it. I think this one was better than the last one,
Do you think this
but
one?
I'm not wild about this one. I feel like this one should have been better than it was, and I can think of specific things, and I've mentioned specific things that I think would have made it better.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's very easy to say oh, it was bad and that's it.
Mm.
But being able to say this would have made it better is, I think, an important part of what we do at
Well,
least.
I think it's it says something about the episode that there are things that could be added to
Mm.
make them good in some
And
ways.
it's worth noting that I mean they finished broadcasting an hour and 40 minutes ago, and we recorded a 45-minute video. Took a 5 minute break to go for a piss, and then we started recording this video. So it's not like we've had hours and hours to sit on this and think about what
No.
we want. It's like we watched it. I make notes. I don't know. I assume you make notes.
No.
No, okay.
Doing it
But
raw.
I write stuff down whilst I'm watching it,
Mm.
and that's it. We've not spent. It's not like we watched this a week ago and we've deliberated on it. It's fucking this is as live as it's going to get, you
Yeah,
guys.
we want to get them out quick to cash in on those views we're not going to get. Uh,
Absolutely.
um, so you said you prefer the Devil's Call to Space Babies. Do you prefer this one to the Christmas episodes? Do you even remember the Christmas episode?
I don't remember them that well actually. They
How
were quite
would
forgettable.
you know how you would rank all the new episodes we've seen so far? We've had six.
Six.
Yeah,
Oh yes, sorry, yeah.
we've
The
had
three
the
specials.
three David Tennant, the Christmas, and these two.
No, I don't know how I'd rank them, but these two would not be in the top three.
Um, I mean, I still really like the Christmas one. I think that might be my favourite.
But again, that had an unnecessary
I
musical
can't.
in it.
What happened in?
The giggle had.
You had the giggle, which yeah, and then you had the one when they were on the space station with the robots and the doppelgangers, which should have been proper body horror but wasn't.
Hmm,
And then you had the toy maker one.
the meep.
Yeah, in the very first one, yeah, the Meep.
Yeah,
And then
that was it. There were six
you had the Christmas one.
with the goblins.
Yeah, still probably my favourite.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I I'm underwhelmed, but I'm not annoyed that I'm underwhelmed. Um,
No, I mean, I went into this with lower expectations than I would normally have had, as you know from a comment I sent you yesterday, day before.
yes,
Um,
yeah, you did. I mean,
what was it? Let me find the.
that it was
It's like Doctor Who directed by Bugs Bunny. Is
yeah,
the problem?
would you say these episodes have been sillier than usual?
Sillier, yes.
Yeah,
Funnier, no.
yeah, I have to say I do miss the days when Doctor Who episodes had a good bit of mavity to them.
Can you fuck off? I know you only said that to annoy me.
You know what the worst thing is? I almost forgot to make the joke.
Yeah, you nearly said gravity.
I know. I thought when you sent me that screenshot, I thought that joke popped into my head, and I thought, no, wait, he's gonna love it.
Mm. I don't know. I'm like I say, I'm not. I said last video. I think maybe I've outgrown Doctor Who. I think it's no longer who representative of what I want from
But
TV.
that's okay.
And it is absolutely fine. There's nothing
You
wrong
know,
with it. It doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it
look,
boring. It just
viewer slash
you know.
listener, if you enjoy Doctor Who, that's fine. You know,
By all means, tell us what you liked
if
about
you
it in the
still
comments
yeah,
below.
if you still like it, that's fine. It's just you know that that meant the world to me, and I think to you too, for a brief period of our lives, very important period of our lives. Um, and if
See,
that's
I
all we
liked
get,
it
that's all we
through.
get, and that's okay.
I didn't really start seeing an issue with Doctor Who as a show. Individual episodes, yes, but as a show, I didn't really start seeing an issue until Chibnall came along. And I know I'm not saying Chibnall is why I no longer enjoy Doctor Who as much as I did. Right, that's not a fair
Mm.
thing because he's not responsible for what we have now. He did not write this episode. It's not fair to blame him for this episode, right?
Mm.
But I think maybe it's because of what was going on in my life at the time as well, potentially. When did Chibnall start? Do we know?
Of course I don't fucking know. Let me see.
When when did Chibnall take over Doctor Who? 2016 they announced it.
What 2017, I guess.
And he was showrunner from 2017 to 2022.
So yeah, that's
Like my
5
life
years.
was
Geez.
was well, they didn't have that many series out in that time.
Mm.
So there was only like three Jodie series and and then the six-parter for Flirts. So like you know,
Mm.
anyway, like, I think I've grown as a person to a point where Doctor Who is not what we have as Doctor Who now. Just isn't doing it for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, we've got one, two, three, four, five. We've got 6 episodes left, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean the series might change, and I might enjoy it again. Right?
I yeah. I mean, I do think. Who knows? Maybe we'll revisit those old episodes and think, God, these aren't particularly good.
Mm.
Now with age, I doubt it somehow. They do still work for me. I think Midnight is fucking amazing. I like
Mm.
Well, I like a lot of them, to be honest. It's very hard for me to pick. Maybe one day we'll do some videos talking about them and why they're so good.
I want to watch or start watching the earlier episodes from the reboot with my son
Hmm.
because he's only a little bit younger than we were when they started, right? In the grand scheme of things, I would say he's mature enough to handle it, but I just haven't got around to broaching the subject with him yet.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, um, I think you should do that. But we've got. I mean, he's probably going to be scared out of his poor little mind by some of those earlier episodes. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll watch it and go, "This is boring."
Yeah, I mean, I recently showed him um, the opening to the original Final Fantasy VII game, which was fucking mind blowing when I first saw it. When I was much younger than he was, and it was like it came out in '97 or something. I don't know, like, really fucking long time ago.
Mm.
So, and it was for tits back then. But looking at he was like, what is that it? Is that supposed to
Technology
be what?
marches on. We're
You know,
getting
I just
old.
so maybe he will be incredibly underwhelmed by
You'll be
2005 Doctor Who. But
teaching. You'll be getting annoyed at you for not knowing how to use a hologram in 30 years. You know that, right?
I'm
Like,
surprised
no,
it's going to take
Dad.
that long.
Fucking hell, Dad. You're such a. You don't do that. What are you doing? This is clogged up with hollow porn. That's why it's taking so long to load, you idiot. I'm so glad we put you in that home.
Anyway,
And yeah,
what about being at home in 30 years? I'll be 60. Jesus.
I don't know, some sort of degenerative brain disease. Anyway,
Oh, fair enough.
um, yes, I'm just looking at.
Wanking my brains away.
Mm, I'm just looking at. I'll come visit. We'll still be making
We
videos.
we just we've got really off track here. Shall we finish the video?
Well, yes. Well, I want to quickly go over the episodes coming up. So we've had Space
Sure.
Babies and The Devil's Chord. We've got Boom next, which is a Stephen
Ooh.
Moffat one.
Oh, that'll
Uh,
be interesting.
yes, I've heard people. I think Shooty said that it was his favourite. He thought it was the best. So who knows? Which is
Mm,
a bit of a fuck you to Rusty Davis. Not gonna lie, given that he's written all but two of these season episodes. Um,
mm.
Next one, 73 yards. We've got
That's got to be in relation to something specific, hasn't it?
we've got
That's
yeah
a distance of time for distance of time,
measurement.
a measure of distance for something specific. But
Dot and Bubble, Rogue,
okay,
which is written by Kate Herron and Brian E. Redman.
I
The
don't know
only
who they are.
I don't well, Kate Herron apparently she directed and executive produced the first season of Loki. Um, she and Brian E. Redman are working on the Sims movie, which
Not what we need for
mm,
Sims movie.
she worked on Sex Education as a director.
That is
Um,
interesting. So we're familiar with Tutti then.
she hasn't got any. She's got short film writing credits. Um, but yeah. Anyway, that they do Rogue. The next one is The Legend of Ruby Sunday, and the final one, The Empire of Death, and that's a two-parter.
Okay,
So yeah. Um,
that could be interesting then.
yes, we'll have to see how the next one goes because Stephen Moffat has a reputation for being really good at doing one-shot episodes. Gave us Blink, and he gave us The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances, and
Hmm.
others. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure we'll discuss Stephen Moffat's complicated legacy later, and then next
Oh,
week.
absolutely, it will come up.
So yeah, I mean, I think I've given my final thoughts. Structure needs changing. I like Jinx Monsoon. I think we've done this bit already. We both basically feel exactly the same.
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
much.
okay, well, we'll see you next time. No point dragging this out. Bye.
Bye.